Such an honor to be here with all of you in the beautiful sunshine. We haven't always been so lucky in some of the other stops with the sun, so thanks for having us this morning, and we're proud to be here to stand strong on behalf of women, especially young women, young girls, and on behalf of our unborn brothers and sisters who have the rights to life just like you and I do. Our country founded on this basic human right, the right to life, but instead we're living in a country where the greatest human rights abuse is being perpetrated by Planned Parenthood, committing the most abortions than any other chain, over 300,000 every year, taking away that basic human right from those that are the most defenseless among us. And that is the number one reason that taxpayers across the country are outraged, that in a time of fiscal crisis, as Marilyn was saying, money is poured into this corrupt organization. But I want to step back and talk to you a little bit about the other victims that are further victimized in Planned Parenthood clinics, some of the things that I've seen with my own eyes. Because that first victim is that unborn child, who's the victim of that greatest human rights abuse, whose basic dignity is stripped because its human right to life is stripped away and taken away and is destroyed violently across our country. But there's another victim. When I was 18, I'm 22 now, just graduated from UCLA. Go Bruins. Any Bruins out there? Probably not, but go Bruins anyway.
Go Pitt.
Okay. go that, yeah. So, but very happy to just have graduated. But when I was 18, I first started doing undercover work. And my first Planned Parenthood clinic that I ever walked into, posing as an underage girl, I walked into that clinic because I had come across some startling statistics. In 2002, a study was done by an organization out of Texas, and they had an actor call up over 800 Planned Parenthood clinics, posing as a 13-year-old girl. And they said, that this girl said on the phone, saying she was 13, she said, you know, he's a lot older, what do I do? She's implying sexual abuse, she's implying statutory rape, she's asking for help. And on 91% of those calls, the person, the Planned Parenthood worker at the other end of the call, told the 13-year-old, who they thought was the 13-year-old girl, that they had a don't ask, don't tell policy about sexual abuse. That she could come in, no questions would be asked. He could bring her in, no questions would be asked. They didn't ask any questions about the partner, about the predator, about the boyfriend, but instead she could come in and get a secret abortion, and her problem would then be solved. Is that called solving the problem when you send the sex abuse victim right back into the arms of the abuser? So walking into that first Planned Parenthood clinic, posing as a 15-year-old, being involved in pro-life work and standing up for the rights of the unborn, that basic human right, but realizing that there's another victim often with every abortion. Sometimes it's a sexually abused mother, sometimes it's a mother who feels coerced or manipulated into that choice. She feels she has no other options, so she goes looking for true choice, but when she finds herself at a Planned Parenthood clinic and she's a sex abuse victim, this is what she might find. Walked in, said I was 15, I said he's a lot older. I said, what do I do? Immediately the clinician said, oh, hold on just a second. She took me behind the checking counter and she said, what's going on? I said, well, he's a lot older, I'm 15. And she looked at me and she said, just figure out the birth date that works. Lie on the paperwork, say that you're older than you really are, and nobody will find out about this boyfriend, no one will find out that you were pregnant, we'll get you that secret abortion. Over the years, as we continued our investigation over summer break or when we had time, we found even more shocking things, posing as victims as young as 13 years old, saying that the man was 31. What do we do? And counselors, nurses at all levels of the organization telling who they think are 13-year-old girls, myself or other actors going undercover, in 10 different clinics telling, we don't care about the boyfriend. We don't want to know. We don't ask any questions. Oh, lie about his age to your school teacher or to your mom or to your dad. He can come in and pay for it. We're not going to tell anybody. We're not going to report it. We're supposed to report it, but we're not going to report it. And here's a bag of condoms. And let's make sure that we put you on a powerful hormonal drug so you can continue to have sex with him and no one will know and you won't get pregnant again. That was the advice. That was the care. That was the safety that was offered our actors again and again, posing undercover. And sadly, we're not just actors, but there are other young girls who are actual sex abuse victims in our country today, who actually suffer getting victim of sexual abuse, statutory rape, who find themselves driven to a secret clinic that's not going to ask any questions, for a secret procedure, no questions asked. There's 2 court cases out of the state of Ohio, young girls. One was the victim of her soccer coach. Another was an incest victim. Both of them taken to abortion clinics, Planned Parenthood clinics, and instead of it being reporting, instead of looking out and seeing what's going on with this girl, is she okay, sent back after a secret abortion into the arms of the abuser for more abuse. Is this what we want for our women?
No.
Is this what we want for our young girls?
No.
This is not health care, and this is not trusted provider of health care. This is not safety. But it gets worse. We intensified the scenario because as we studied more, we learned more and more about human trafficking. And this is another issue that I'm very passionate about, because in our country today, according to the Department of Justice, there are over 300,000 children sold on the street for sex every year, most of them young girls. And at some point in a young prostitute's life, she'll get pregnant. Very likely that she'll get pregnant. What happens? And then she'll suffer usually a coerced abortion. What happens to this young girl when she gets pregnant, one of these traffic victims? Many of them are domestic. They're kidnapped victims, they're runaways, they're sold in trailer parks, they're sold in brothels, massage parlors, online. What happens to these young girls? They're going to be taken or sent under threat to a clinic that doesn't ask any questions, to a clinic that operates under a sick code of confidentiality, to a clinic whose ideology is so abortion and birth control first that they forget to really care about the well-being of the woman right in front of them, the very young woman right in front of them. And so when we sent in our actors in the month of January into these 7 different clinics that we've now released in 7 different videos, our actors posing as traffickers, saying that they were sex workers of girls as young as 14. The Planned Parenthood workers at every level of the organization, from the manager to the supervising clinician to the front-level staffer, looked at these self-identified sex workers and found ways to work with them, saying that it was confidential, telling them how to access the system, how to use the website, telling them how to even qualify for tax-funded discounts for their young sex slaves, even telling them how they can keep their sex slaves working on the street after being wounded by an abortion, because you can't be sexually active 2 weeks after an abortion. It's not advised, so how are they going to make money for you? And the manager of the clinic says, waist up, telling the pimp, waist up, this is how you can make money off of those girls, waist up. Heartbreaking, shocking, disturbing, outrageous. It has to stop. This is not health care for women. This is not trusted provider of health for women. This is not safe for women. So on behalf of women across the country, concerned parents, concerned sisters, I have 2 sisters, concerned aunts, on behalf of all of our women across the country, on behalf of grandparents and parents, on behalf of young women who deserve better health care than this, true health care, and on behalf of our unborn brothers and sisters, innocent human beings who in that first trimester, after 4 weeks, their little heart is already beating. At 8 weeks, they have brain waves that are already detectable. By the end of that first trimester, towards the end, and the majority of abortions are in that first trimester, that little child is fully formed. It has arms and legs. It has a little face. It's beginning to develop everything, and it's fully formed. It just needs to get bigger and more time to grow. That child should be safe. That child should be cared for. That child should be protected. So let's care. Let's truly care. Let's offer real solutions, and let's truly look out for our women, our young girls, and our children. It's time to defund this organization. Send the funds to another group that's going to care. There are over 7,000 federally qualified health centers that do not offer abortion, that women can go to for comprehensive care. Let's defund their program. Let's send the money there. But no more money should be pouring into this deceptive and abusive organization. It's time to stop. And Congressman, on behalf of women and behalf of children, we urge you to change your mind and stand up, and really stand up, and be courageous and bold, and stand up for women, truly protecting women and protecting our unborn children. Thank you. Yeah.